Talking about this tough on crime and all that stuff. That's why the Democrats and Republicans, but they're the same people, y'all. Let's be real. They're the same people. It was the Democrats that said, called us urban terrorists in the 90s.
They say justice is blind, meaning...
Well, I'm about to get the bitch some glasses. Shout out to Willie D. You heard from the Ghetto Bar.
Yeah, it seems like society would just like, hey, if there's a crime committed, we would like to see someone take the rap. Like you said, put 6 people in front of you, just pick somebody because they have to satisfy the need of the people.
Not to cut you off,
please.
But see, bro, that was I'm glad you brought that up too. Because, so what about the actual family of the victim that was victimized? So if you just worrying about somebody got to pay, what about the true justice of the family who have been victimized by losing their loved one? And that's why I tell people, man, stop letting these people use your pain to promote unjust laws. Talking about this tough on crime and all that stuff. That's why the Democrats and Republicans, but they're the same people, y'all. Let's be real. They're the same people. It was the Democrats that said, called us urban terrorists in the 90s. You know, that made people look at as a 16-year-old kid, they had them calling me an urban terrorist, bro. Come on, let's be real.
Come on. As we get into it, and again, I want to jump around this conversation, but I have to ask because currently, and I just gotta get your take on this. You spoken on C Murder, and of course you did time with C Murder, and we just watched Master P, of course, speak on his brother on a platform, speaking on him basically getting up to the point where he runs out of appeals. And once you run out of appeals, I'm assuming, or this is my question, what are your options when a man has, and how many appeals do you get as you're fighting a life sentence? And if you run out, if they all get denied, what are the options after that?
When your sentence, in other words, when your sentence is considered finalized, your conviction is considered valid, even though we know it's unjust and wrong. But once you reach that finality, then you die in prison if you got a life sentence. Okay? So that's what, the reality of what Corey Miller is dealing with. Y'all call him C. Murder, I call him Corey Miller. That's the reality of what Corey Miller is dealing with right now. That's the reality of what I had to deal with. But that doesn't mean that man controls that destiny. Because I'm sitting right here before you. So I'm living proof that that's bullshit. They told my mom I had to do life, die, come back and do 30 more. And I'm sitting here right here in the flesh with you, right? So the thing that hurts me the most about, and it's not just Corey Miller. We just use his name because we want to give attention because nobody want to focus on the reality. But you have no name people that's just as solid, that just as real, that just is mentally, showing mentally fortitude, that deserve to be out here with us, ready to rebuild the communities, right? They're in there too. So we just use that name just so y'all could pay a fucking attention, bro, on this social media shit, right? But the reality is it could be your brother, your nephew, you know what I'm saying? And so the finality of that is this. When I hear these rappers talking about free my dog in these songs, bro, it be hurting me. Because, okay, we got rallies go right. The legislative session started in Louisiana this Monday, that just passed, right? Today, what, Sunday?
Yep.
So it's been tomorrow gonna make a week, 7 days. Bro, I don't see no rapper posting about the 10-2, the bills that's being pushed that could help Corey Miller right now, even though y'all saying there's conviction, the sentence is finalized, et cetera, et cetera. There's bill proposals in Louisiana right now because Jim Crow is real, okay? The non-unanimous jury verdict was implemented in 1898. And the purpose of it was to perpetuate slavery. Shout out to Professor Angela Bell from Southern University. She dug up the dead bones. She got the evidence and the proof. So that helped a case called Ramos that went to the U.S. Supreme Court. And the U.S. Supreme Court said that's unconstitutional for those people to be convicted under when they didn't have a unanimity on the jury verdict. So that means all 12. If me or C Murder, y'all know him as C Murder, Corey Miller. If we was in Texas, if we was in New York, California, if we were in any other state, we would have never been convicted. because 2 jurors found both of us in our cases not guilty.
Give me your take on that as far as how the laws are ran statewide versus federal. Like you could literally cross an imaginary line, and a crime could be totally different with just yards from each other, where you're on this state line versus that state line. And an imaginary line could change the outcome of your life. What's your take on that? Like, how morally just effed up is that?
Could I just be raw and play? It's
Please.
bullshit. Just like right now, they're changing the district lines because certain people over here vote this way and certain people over here vote that way. So the people in power are trying to get the most votes. So they're dictating where those particular lines, those imaginary lines are drawn. Yeah. So it's bullshit. It's fugazi, homie. It's fake. Yeah. You know, but as long as our people keep worrying about when they hit me up and ask me, was boosting population? Is this dude, is this rapper really who he said? When they focus on that, that's what the enemy wants. He wants us worrying about bullshit. Ask me, is Boosie going to the legislative session in Louisiana right now to promote the Free C murder on this 10-2 issue, man? Like, let's be real. Let's talk about real shit. Because I could easily come on this motherfucker and just say, this nigga, that, whoop, whoop, right? And what did it look like? Oh, he clout chasing. But when you research me and you realize who the fuck I am, bro, I am the clout.
Come on.
I live this shit, bro. I grew up in the blooded prison. Ain't nobody fucked me in my head. Ain't nobody took my commissary. You heard me? Ain't nobody slapped me in my face. Like, so I could really be out here bragging and boasting. But you know what? I choose to humble myself and try to prevent your kid, your nephew, and their child from going through what the fuck I went through and what my family went through for 25 motherfucking years, man.
Now that you said it, again, I let the comments talk, but I got to get out the way because you mentioned Boosie. And this is just what's going on in the world. And, you know, the world pay attention to names like that. Young Thug, of course, had to do his time in county while he fought his trial. And Boosie, of course, did his time. And Young Thug just made a post saying that going to PC is the smartest thing to do. And, of course, this is Young Thug. You know, he's a famous rapper. And he's basically telling, you know, other famous rappers, that's the smartest thing to do, go into protective custody. And Boosie responded saying that is not the manly thing to do, to want to be protected from your own people that listen to your music, that buy your albums, that spend money on you, to not be amongst them. Boosie said that's not, you know, that's foul.
But that's the same people that say, if you go back to your hood, you get killed. Like, let's be real. But see, we not being honest, homie. We trying to live up to a code that was a fugazi, homie. This street shit was a facade, and we fell for it. The street shit was a facade, and we fell for it, brothers.